Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So how do you write a literature review? Do you follow specific steps or do you just type something that pertains to your topic and that looks interesting to you at random without having a specific structure? Well, today I want to share with you how to write a literature review the right way by explaining 6 critical steps that you must follow to write the best review. When it comes to academic research, I find that the literature review is the area that students tend to stay away from the most because they often think that it's the most difficult chapter to write. So in this video, I am going to share with you how you can quickly and easily write your literature review so that the process is seamless and stress-free for you. Before I jump into the video though, if you have not yet subscribed to the channel, please do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. Please give this video a big thumbs up also. Now, let's talk about exactly what is a literature review. So a literature review is a comprehensive summary and analysis of the existing research and literature on a specific topic. It involves systematically searching, evaluating, and synthesizing previous studies, theories, and key concepts that are relevant to your research question or field of study. So, why exactly is a literature review important in research? So a literature review serves to set the standard or set the context for your research. It identifies existing studies, theories, and gaps that your work will aim to address. It demonstrates your knowledge of the field and justifies your research questions. And let's talk about the specific areas in terms of why it is important. So a literature review establishes a theoretical foundation. It provides a framework of existing knowledge and theories that are related to your research topic, and it helps you understand the background and context of your study. It also helps to identify research gaps. So it reveals areas that have not yet been explored or have been under-researched to date, and then it helps you identify opportunities for new research and contributions that you can make to your field. It also avoids duplication of studies because it ensures that your research is original by showing what has already been studied on that particular topic. And then it prevents any unnecessary duplication of existing studies in this way. The next reason why literature review is so important in research is that it also helps to inform the research design. So it helps to guide the development of your research questions, your hypotheses, and your methodology. It helps you refine your study design based on what has been learned from previous research. The next thing is that it demonstrates scholarly rigor. So it shows that you have conducted a thorough review of the literature because you are demonstrating your expertise. And then it enhances the credibility and validity of your specific research. So it also supports arguments. So it provides evidence and support for your research arguments and claims, and it helps you build a strong case for the significance and relevance of your specific study. And finally, it also improves understanding. So it deepens your understanding of the topic and then the broader academic discourse, and it allows you to engage with the existing body of knowledge and helps you to contribute meaningfully to the body of study that has already been conducted on the topic. By conducting a literature review, you really lay the groundwork for your research because you're ensuring that it is grounded in existing knowledge while you're identifying new avenues that you can explore. So this will make your research more robust, relevant, and impactful. So now let's talk about the sections of a literature review. So the first section is the introduction. So this is where you will introduce the topic and set the context for the review. You will state the purpose and the objectives of the literature review, and then you also will outline the scope of the review, right? So for example, you'll talk about time periods, specific themes, and so forth that you found based on the article that you reviewed. Next is the search and selection area. So this is where you will describe the criteria for selecting the literature. So example, the keywords that you use, and then the databases that you also used when you were conducting your lit review. This will include a systematic search of academic journals, books, and other sources, and then that you will ensure the inclusion of relevant and credible sources in this way. And I will link in the description a previous video that I did on the best academic databases that you should use for your literature review. The other section is a summary and synthesize, right? So you want to summarize and synthesize. So you should summarize the key findings, theories, and methodologies of the selected studies. And then you want to identify any patterns, trends, or gaps in the existing literature. Then you want to synthesize information to provide an integrated overview of the topic. The next section is where you will conduct critical analysis. So this is where you will evaluate the strengths and weaknesses of the existing literature. You will discuss the reliability, validity, and the relevance of the findings, and then you will highlight the areas of agreement and disagreement among scholars, right? So there may be areas where one researcher said something, and then you will look at another article, you may read another article, and then that other researcher said something different, like the complete opposite, right? So you want to highlight those findings as well. And then, of course, you have your conclusion section of your lit review. And this is where you will summarize the main insights from the literature review. You will identify the gaps and suggested areas for future research. And then this will link the literature review to the broader research question or thesis. Now let's go into these 6 critical steps to make sure that you write the best literature review possible. The first step is for you to define the scope of your research. So you will start by clarifying your topic. You want to start by defining the specific topic or research question you will address in your literature review. Then you will narrow down your focus to avoid being overwhelmed by the information that you will undoubtedly find. And then, for example, instead of focusing on just the term education, you may want to narrow it down to the impact of technology on student engagement in higher education. The next thing for this step is that you should identify the key concepts and keywords. So you want to list the key concepts, variables, and terms that are related to your topic. Then these keywords will guide your search for relevant literature. For example, in the example that I used above, right, the key terms might include technology in education, student engagement, higher education, and educational technology. Now on to step 2. So this is where you will conduct a thorough literature search. So the first thing is to use academic databases. Again, I will make sure that I link the previous video that I did on the best academic databases to use. And I'll also link another video about how to make the most of your academic databases, right? So how to use them more efficiently so that they work well for your research. So you want to utilize academic databases such as PubMed and Google Scholar, as well as your university's library to find any relevant articles, books, and papers. You want to make use of advanced search options to filter the results by date, subject, and then the type of publication. Next, you want to screen and select your sources. So you should read abstracts to quickly assess the relevance of sources, right? So by looking at the abstract, quickly reading through it, you'll be able to get a lot of information, and you will be able to tell whether or not that article is relevant to your research, right? Based on your specific research topic. No need for you to read the full text article at that point, right? You first want to just browse or quickly read through the abstract, and then you will be able to get so much information from that you will be able to tell, okay, will I be able to use this article? Is this article actually relevant to my specific study? And then you want to focus on the introduction and the conclusion, right, of the abstract to understand the main findings, and then again, the relevance to your specific topic. Aim for a balance between seminal works in the field and then the most recent studies to ensure your review is both comprehensive and current, right? So you will want to follow your university's guidelines because some university will require that the articles not be any older than 5 years old. Some will say 10, up to 10 years old, and some may say 8 years old. So you really want to make sure that you understand very well your university's specific guidelines so that you know, okay, how far are old the articles can be that you're actually using in your literature review. Now, step 3. This is where you will organize your sources. So you want to create a literature matrix or a literature table to help you organize and summarize the key points from each source. You should include columns for authors, publication dates, the research questions that those articles covered, the methodologies that they use, the findings, and then the gaps that they addressed or any gaps that they mentioned in the articles. So this structured approach will make it easier to compare and then contrast the studies, right? So the gaps can also be anything that they may have mentioned or any gap that you see that, okay, they did not address that specific gap, right? Because that will help you to identify where you can actually, what gaps you will be able to fill in your research. And then you want to group your sources by themes, patterns, or categories. So this thematic organization will form the backbone of your literature review. For example, themes might include student engagement techniques, impact of specific technologies, and challenges in implementing technology. Going back to my the first example that I gave. Okay, so now for step 4, this is where you will develop a clear structure, right? So for your introduction, you will outline the purpose, scope, and structure of your literature review, and you should clearly state what you intend to cover and why it is important. And then for your thematic organization, you should organize your review by themes, methodologies, or in chronological order, depending on what best suits your specific research. So each section should address a different aspect of your research question. And then use headings and subheadings as well to guide the reader through your review, just to make sure that it's easier for them to read and understand, okay, this is what this particular section of the literature review will be about, to just make it easier for your readers. Then you want to synthesize as well. So instead of summarizing each source individually, you should synthesize the information by discussing how the sources relate to one another, as well as to your research questions. So highlight the agreements, any contradictions, and gaps in the literature. For example, you may want to compare different studies on the effectiveness of a specific educational technology. Now on to step 5, and this is the meat of your literature review. So the first thing is for your introduction section, you want to introduce the main themes and structure of your literature review. You should provide context for why this topic is important and how exactly it relates to your research. And then for the body, you want to develop each theme or category with in-depth discussions. So you should integrate findings from multiple sources to provide a comprehensive overview, okay? So you should not cite one source too many times throughout your literature review, okay? So you want to make sure that you have a plethora of sources in your review. Then use direct quotes sparingly, and then you want to focus on paraphrasing to maintain a cohesive narrative, okay? So don't use too many direct quotes throughout your literature review either. Make sure that you paraphrase instead. And then for the conclusion section of your lit review, you want to summarize the key points from your review and then highlight the gaps in the existing literature and explain how your research will address these gaps as well as contribute to your field. Then step 6, this is where you will revise and make edits as necessary. The first thing you want to do is to seek feedback. So you want to seek feedback from advisors, your peers, as well as your mentors. So they can provide valuable insights on clarity, coherence, as well as comprehensiveness. So you should consider engaging or organizing a peer review session where you will exchange drafts with your peers. You also want to proofread your work. And so you should conduct a thorough, thoroughly proofread your literature review for grammatical errors, proper citation, and formatting, okay? You want to make sure that you follow your university's guidelines when it comes to what the citation source you should use, right? So what should be the citation style, as well as the formatting guidelines that your university or your university's department gives you to follow for your literature review. You want to ensure consistency in your writing style as well as the structure. The next thing is to use citation management tools. So tools like EndNote, Mendeley, or Zotero can help you keep track of your sources and format your references correctly. They can also help you insert citations and to create a reference page as you write. You should also make sure that you stay organized and consistent. So maintain a consistent tone and style throughout your literature review. Avoid switching between like first and the third person or between formal and informal language. You want also to be critical and analytical. So evaluate your sources critically by discussing both strengths and weaknesses that you found throughout your literature review. So as you were reviewing the different articles that you found, you want to make sure that you address both strengths and weaknesses. And then you should avoid simply listing studies. So instead, provide an analytical overview of the literature. And now to quickly summarize the six steps that you should follow to write an excellent literature review. The first is to define your research scope. The second is to conduct a thorough literature review. The third is to organize your sources well. The fourth is to develop a clear structure. The fifth step is to focus on the meat of your review. And the sixth step is to revise and make edits to your literature review as necessary. By following these detailed steps, you'll be well equipped to write a comprehensive and compelling literature review for your thesis or dissertation paper that both you and your committee members will be very proud of. Again, please like this video, please subscribe to the channel, and please head to the notification bell for more academic writing tips and tutorials. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.